Hello there guys, Bilbo10000 here, bringing you a special video because today we are going to be analyzing the first trailer for Pokemon Detective Pikachu, the movie. It just dropped like 15 to 20 minutes ago. My profile picture on Discord is now Jigglypuff, and I thought I would go through this trailer with you guys and talk about what I notice as a Pokemon fan, what I like, what I dislike. I'm gonna see what I can do to make sure that I don't get this video demonetized and blocked worldwide, so whatever I've done, it will reflect on the video, but let's just take a little look and see what we see. So, the trailer starts off and we get this massive panoramic shot of Rhyme City with our main protagonist walking out into the sunlight. There are floating Pokemon, various bird types. I believe I can see a Pidgey somewhere around there. There are lots of signs. You can see a Wooper sign. You can see, I think it's a Whimsicott or something along those lines. I'll probably have a thing popping up if I can't remember the name of a Pokemon. I can see a Goomy, I believe, on one of the neon signs. There is a shop called Berry Universe, there's a Poke Cafe, there is one of those cotton candy style Pokemon that I don't know the name of because I'm not familiar with that generation. There's some Pokemon floating in the air that I can't really make out. I think one of them might be Klefki, but I could be wrong there. But we do see a Dotrio just kind of casually walking along, hanging out. On top of that, we also have a little Charmander that kind of pops up right at the bottom of the screen there and looks absolutely adorable. There's a Victini on the top right, and it's by a shop that I think says Victory or Victor Cafe. Something along those lines. There is a lot of detail in this first shot alone. Tons of skyscrapers, tons of extra, just little details that you can spot throughout the entire panoramic shot, and it is just beautiful to look at. It really is. So, I think I can see... Is that a Tauros? I'm gonna just quickly... No, that is a Bouffalant. We can see a Bouffalant just down there, past... near the Charmander, past a woman who is just walking there. It's just casually a Bouffalant just walking along. There's another Dotrio, I think, in the bottom right. Oh my god, these Pokemon look absolutely amazing in live action, and I've never thought I'd ever say that. These look beautiful. So then it cuts to another scene where there is a group of people dressed up in Gengar colors, inflating a giant Gengar. There is a Psyduck sitting down next to a woman who I imagine might be important to the plot, seeing as she looks interesting, and we do see Psyduck again later in the trailer. There is a massive Jigglypuff float just behind, and you can see right there to the woman's left, there are people dressed up as Squirtle, and coming on screen to the left, there is someone who is dressed up as a Bulbasaur. If you look at the woman's car, you can see a little Spoink, like doll, like sort of like a hula girl, but it's a Spoink, just sitting on a dashboard, which is really cool. Aside from that, nothing too out of the ordinary. We get a shot of Tim, the main character. It then gets a shot of all the different awards that the police department for Tim Goodman's dad, Harry Goodman, what he won. He's got a certificate of award from Rhyme City Hall, police department, he's got a Valor Award. He's basically a really popular dude. And then there's another trophy that he's holding, of course, with 3 stars on it, beautiful. We then skip ahead to Tim going back to his house. There's a whole bunch more just kind of street signs. You've got one that says Mist. You've just got a whole bunch of neon, sort of cyberpunk-esque signs that I find really interesting, especially with the design of this movie. I wouldn't have attributed, like, such an industrial sort of effect to Pokemon, given Pokemon's always been quite nature-bound. So it's very interesting to see this. So Tim goes into his bedroom, and it is just decorated with tons of different Pokemon memorabilia. On the very left, you have got a Blastoise, you've got a Rayquaza on the wall and on the back of his door. There is a Dragonite and Hypno. There is a Charizard in the Cerulean Arena. There's Articuno versus Steelix. There is a giant X111 there. I can't really read out the full name. There is a Pokemon there is a Charizard and a Blaziken fighting on a poster on the wall. This is insane. The amount of detail and just the kind of way that they have added Pokemon into this and actually made it look somewhat cool is really impressive. And then there is the Sinnoh Championship. Everyone knows that Sinnoh is actually a location in the Pokemon region. It is from the Pokemon world. It is the region that the 4th generation games are set in, so it's really nice to see that this is taking place in the Pokemon universe. We've got a Pikachu-eared bedspread there, and then to the right you can just see Reshiram kind of just flying on a poster there. And then you see Zekrom once again, and above them is another poster that says Final, but you can't really see much more than that. So Tim, he actually has what I would assume is like a passport. So it's a happy birthday 21 years old passport. It's not a passport, it is a card with a train ticket. And the train ticket is a way to get to Rhyme City from Leventown, which is, wow, what a name. That is not subtle at all. Just a kind of like interesting little ticket here, a lot of little details about how they've just made this city completely what it is. I really like that. It's just really cool. This is just stuff that I think is really interesting. And then he gets a stapler and we see our first shot of Pikachu. Pikachu, from the moment you see him, he looks like he is there to market toys, quite frankly. He is so furry compared to how I would have expected him to be, but at the same time, I'm okay with this. I mean, it's clear that they're probably going to try and market some Detective Pikachu toys, and the fur helps with creating merchandise, but Pikachu looks absolutely adorable, I have to say. So we then get a major shot of Pikachu kind of pointing to himself, pointing to his tail. We get a real good look at the character, and he looks completely faithful to the original Pokemon design. Obviously, he is a lot furrier than I think some people were expecting, but his eyes are emotional, his tail has the right colors, his chest has the right colors, he's got the Detective Pikachu hat from the game, and he's voiced by Ryan Reynolds, so what's not to love? Deadpool as Pikachu. So once we get through that opening Pikachu scene, the next major important scene is this cityscape. We can see 3 Emolga hanging out on a roof, just looking down. We see, I believe, another Dodrio or a Doduo. They really like that Pokemon in the stalls there, and a whole bunch of humans just walking around. There's a sign called Sun Garments, there's a noodle shop, there's a Spark shop in the background. There is a lot of different kind of stores that I assume this is like a commercial district, like a food district. I don't know if this was in the game, I haven't played the games, so I don't know what's accurate to the game and what's not, but this looks like a really cool location, I've got to say. So then Pikachu is walking past a man who is cooking very casually. Pokemon, clearly in this world, they are allowed to live by humans, and humans just kind of get on with their days. There is a really funny moment where the main character, Tim, goes and points to Pikachu and is like, "Can you hear him? Can you hear him?" And then we get the traditional Pikachu voice from the anime and from every bit of Pokemon media for when anyone else other than Tim is actually hearing Pikachu, because only he can hear him. So that was a really nice touch, and something that I think is really funny, because the dichotomy between the bright, loud squeaks of Pikachu and then Ryan Reynolds' voice, it's brilliant. We then get another shot of the food district where we can see what I think is a Venusaur just walking casually through the streets there, and I can't really tell if that's a Pokemon or not, but if it is, I'm thinking maybe a Lickitung, possibly? Let me get another little look at that, because I'm looking at this, I'm not really sure what that is. There's a little pink Pokemon just a little bit down below. I'm gonna zoom in on it so you guys can see what I'm on about. I'm not really sure what it is. I originally thought Lickitung, maybe like a shiny Poliwhirl or something. If you guys know what Pokemon that is, let me know in the description below, or comments below even. All right, moving on. There is a car that explodes. There is clearly Tim and the Pokemon having a bit of an argument. There's going to be some sort of confrontation there, probably at the start of the movie, where Tim is like, "I don't need no Pokemon," and Pikachu's like, "But you need a detective," and they'll probably end up solving cases together, and there's a car explosion, and it's great. There was someone crawling out of a car, followed by a shot of some missing posters. There is a missing Squirtle Pokemon that is missing. There is a missing Puncham that is missing. But I don't think we can read anything else. There's a meeting notice for Wednesday the 27th in a cafe. The High Hat Cafe, I think that is. There is then a massive shot of some Bulbasaur just kind of walking through this lovely kind of like river area. There are some Pokemon that I don't particularly recognize floating around as well. I'll zoom in on them. If you can tell me what they are in the description, that would be great. And it looks like Tim is carrying Pikachu. Pikachu looks a little bit beat up at this point, so this might not necessarily be the best part of the movie. This might be after a major fight, Pikachu may be injured, and they may be going to heal him. The area around this place is full of flora and fauna, perfect where Bulbasaur would roam. Looks beautiful. I love how scaly the Bulbasaur actually look in comparison to the bulb on their back. I like that they've gone with full scales, and they look realistic, but they also look really cool as well. You then get a shot of my new profile picture on Discord, looking angrily at the camera. It is the Jigglypuff from the anime, same marker in hand, obviously very upset that this man next to her has fallen asleep. Could be her trainer, could just be a random person. There is also a poster in the top left of a Machamp versus Primeape battle, and there are actual Poke dollars, so it confirms that they do use Poke for their money there, and that is really cool. Moving on from that, we get our first look at Charizard, who looks absolutely stunning in this movie. Scaly and angry and just looks beautiful. Roaring flames, and we're gonna get a better look at him later in the trailer, but he looks so damn good. Like, he has no business looking this good. We then get a shot of 3 Greninjas attacking what I'm going to assume is maybe Detective Pikachu, because we see them later on in the trailer, and Greninja looks absolutely stunning. I'm not going to lie, I absolutely love how these 3 Greninja look, and they have no business looking this good. They do not. They do not have any business looking this good, but they look so damn good anyway. We then get a shot of Detective Pikachu and Tim looking at what I'm going to assume is possibly the Charizard portion of the trailer, because it is a caged off area. There is a Squirtle to the right there that's just kind of casually watching as well. And right behind that, we can see the pre-evolution of Braviary, just kind of sitting there as well. I think that's called a Rufflet, if I recall, but I'll have the official name on screen now, which is really cool. Some nice just sort of Pokemon in the background that you may not see your first time through. There is an explosion that happens. Pikachu and Tim are running away from something, not really sure what. We then get a shot of the woman from before with the Psyduck and Pikachu riding with Tim in a car. They are going to a location of an unknown location, but they are riding together, showing that she is going to be the female lead of this movie. Psyduck's eyes look particularly terrifying in this shot, but at the same time, it's somewhat endearing because it's Psyduck. We get a shot of Pikachu, Tim, the girl, and Psyduck looking up into the sky at what I'm going to assume is potentially the Greninjas attacking them. It looks like it's in the same forested area. We could be seeing them getting attacked by these Greninja. These Greninja could be working for whoever the antagonist of the movie is. Oh, ignore me, I'm wrong. No, the world just starts to go all Inception and starts to just twist and turn, because that makes a lot of sense. What the hell? We then get a very large look at Mr. Mime, a Pokemon that just translates so horrifically well into live action that it's actually terrifying. The way he has his little mime antics where he moves his hand over his face and he changes his expression, and he creates his little barriers that Pikachu runs into, and the way he just looks so menacing. I actually think this really works with the Pokemon design, because I mentioned this on Twitter, but not every Mr. Mime is the one that helps out Ash's mother in the anime. A lot of them are creepy and downright sadistic. You've got to remember that there are many Pokemon out there whose actual origins are kind of fucked up, and I think they really did that well with Mr. Mime here. We then get a shot of Tim and Pikachu running away from those assumedly same Greninja from the start of the, from earlier on in the trailer, as they are running down a factory corridor. This is presumably more near the end of the film. There is a shot of Psyduck screaming and an explosion careening across the forest. It looks somewhat watery in effect, which means it could either be an attack from Psyduck or an attack from one of the Greninjas, and then it ends with this spectacular shot of Charizard and his rather realistic-looking mouth opening up to effectively eat Pikachu, which is horrific in all the right reasons, and this is one of those sequences that is just downright beautiful to look at. So that is all of the Pokemon references that I could see, or at least all the Pokemon within the trailer that I could see in this first trailer. If you guys enjoyed this sort of video, then I will happily do an in-depth analysis if they release more trailers, because this actually looks kind of good, and you have to think, this is the first time we've seen Pokemon in this sort of situation being created for movies, for live action. This is the first time we've ever had this. This is groundbreaking in comparison to what we've had before. The way they've really designed some of these Pokemon really works with the cinematography and with the film's aesthetic, which I really like. And I think this film might actually do really well because just from watching it and reading it, the movie feels more like a buddy cop film than it does a Pokemon film, and that might be better for catching an audience of people that maybe don't know what Pokemon is. They might enjoy the film and then enjoy the fact that Pokemon is kind of tacked onto it, which I think is better than making Pokemon the horrific main focus. That being said, I am pleasantly surprised by this, and even if this film turns out to be an absolute dumpster fire, at least it looks good. So yeah, thanks for watching guys, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.